Hey guys, how's it going? davidinark here, and one of the requests that I get from a lot of folks is they want to know how do you put objects into BeamNG so that you can, do crashes and that kind of stuff. So today I'm going to do kind of a how-to for putting objects into the game, and there's a couple of ways to do that. And the first way is to switch into FreeCam, which is Shift C, or I have F8 set up to FreeCam, and then you use WASD and your mouse to basically fly to where you want to put an object. Then you hit Escape and you bring up the Vehicles menu, and then from the Vehicles menu you want to pick whatever object you're going to put in. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're going to put in I don't know, how about a large metal ramp? I mean, you can pick anything, but let's say a large metal ramp, and then you hit Spawn New, and that will spawn it into the game. Now, the kicker is it may not be where you want it to go. So what you can do is hold down the Control key, and then you can use your mouse, grab one of those points and drag it over to the side. Now, while you're dragging, you can rotate the mouse wheel up, your middle mouse wheel. You can rotate that up and down to change the amount of force that's being applied. So all I do is just whip around here and point to pick a different couple of points that I want to move things, and then I want to make sure that I set the home position. So that is Control Home. That sets the home position for that particular object, and then we just cruise on down the road and head for whatever object you happen to put into the game. And so we hit the ramp and crash. Oh, well, we didn't get a whole lot of air, but all right. Well, I mean, I guess that wasn't too bad per se, but I think if we grabbed another car, then maybe we'll get some air time. So how about a sunburst? We'll grab a sunburst, and we've got the rally sunburst going on here. Now I have the same ramp that we had before, but this time we're taking the rally car. We hit the jump, and oh yeah, clear it. Oh, there's a wall there, and there goes our wheel. So you might want to get that later. All right. Anyhow, so we're going to take another shot at the ramp here, cruise on down, see if we can get a little better angle on it. Oh, there we go. Change the camera. So I use just the letter C and hit C a couple of times and change over the camera angle. So you can do all this kinds of stuff while you're playing, and or if you're going to be recording, definitely you want to do that to record. Let's take another stab at it here, but this time, let's go a little bit to the left and see if we can do a barrel roll. There we go. Oh, well, I didn't quite get enough air. We are just rolling and tumbling and turtling. So there you go. Okay, so that's how you put an object in the game. That's the down and dirty, easy way. You just go where you want it to go. Free cam, get to that spot, hit escape, bring up the vehicle menu and plop one in. But let's say you want to put in another object. So I'm going to switch to free cam because, again, I want to position my camera close to where I want the second object to be put in the game. You go back to the vehicles menu, and these additions are called props, but they're still under the vehicles menu. So this time we're going to grab just a regular ramp instead of the large one. And you can see that it spawned like inside the big ramp. Okay, well, that's not really going to help us, right? So what we want to do is if I free cam again and then reposition my game camera and then hit F7, then it will spawn that object. So this is a little closer. It's still not quite on. So again, I move my mouse, I hold the Control key, and then I drag one of these dots to reposition the ramp about where I want it. And actually, that's not too bad. There's some weird stuff going on down here at the base. I think, though, maybe if I do, well, I don't know. Let's see if we can move this a little bit. No, not really. They're kind of stuck together. But I think if I set this as a home place, the Control Home, and then hit the home key, that resets that home position, and now they're lined up pretty nicely, actually. So let's see here. Let's grab the sunburst, cruise on down the road. And we are going to head right at the jumps. Oh, yeah, we are getting, whoops, way more height. Oh, into the tree, up over the fence. Hey, we landed upright, so, you know, there was that. All right, so let's see. Oh my gosh. I know this is a tutorial, but how do you can't help but play the game. So that's not going to work. Okay, so as you can see, the two ramps sort of, the bases kind of came apart. So when I ran up on that, that's not pretty at all. And you are going to run into that a lot. So all I'm doing here is I'm just going to hit the home key to try to reset these, and I'm using tab to switch between the different items. All right, this is not really working. I don't know why that's floating up in the air like that. I mean, I understand why it is. The two objects are sort of conflicting as to where they're supposed to be in the ground. But again, if I grab one of the nodes using control, use my mouse and drag, and then if you click the middle mouse button, the mouse wheel, if you click that, it will keep that node solid on the screen. So basically you're permanently attaching that node to wherever you're attaching it. In this case, I'm attempting to attach it to the ground. It's not quite right still. All right, so what if I reposition that again? Okay, so I hit home, and that doesn't look too bad from here, but the back end of that of the large ramp still looks like it's floating a little bit. So I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, no, that didn't work. The tail end of that ramp just grabbed my tires, and that didn't work at all. Okay, so again, I'm using tab and the home keys to try to reset things. I mean, that's actually not too bad. I mean, it's not great, but I think that might work. Let me try changing this out for a hopper, mainly because, and I'm going to use the custom hopper, mainly because the hopper has a higher ground clearance. So I'm hoping that the wheels of the hopper can compensate for whatever weirdness is happening at the edge of the ramp here. Let's try to hit this. Oh no, blew the tires. That's sorry, that's not gonna work. Well, that's always fun. So there you go. Okay, so let's get rid of some stuff. One of the ways you can get rid of something is to go to the vehicles menu and tell it to remove the currently selected item. And then here we've got our ramp. So I hit the home key and that resets it. So there you go. But that's one way that you can position something, is to simply free cam to where you want to go, pick the object you want, and spawn it in there. Now, another way that you can spawn something in or position something is I went and I found the bollard, and so I just told it to spawn in a new bollard, but I now need to position this where I need it to go. So I needed to free cam this situation, and then you hit F11, and that will take you into the editor mode. So then once you're in editor mode, then you can look around and you can position this item where you want to. Now over on the left hand side, you got to make sure the object editor is selected, and then also the position, and then you see there are arrows that you can use that will let you move the object around. So you can move it around by using the arrows themselves, or you can also choose like multiple planes. So this one here just does X and Y, so it won't float up and down. Now this one, it'll let me, kind of position it wherever I want to go. But what I can do is I can take this bollard and I can drop it down just, I don't know, kind of where I want it to go. I sort of want it so where you can see the top of it in the ramp itself, and then you hit F11 to get out of edit mode. And then on the bollard, you can use the page up and page down keys to set the height of that particular object. So I'm raising it up as high as it goes, and it's a little off center. So I'm going to switch back into editor mode here. Again, that's F11. And then it's already still selected, so I can just grab the object here and just sort of move it around. Like I said, I want to see that base. There we go. That's a little better. It's still not quite where I want it, but that's close enough. Again, you hit F11 to get out of edit mode, and then you can use Shift C, and that will change the camera back if you were doing free cam, and then we'll tab over to the vehicle that we were using, in this case the hopper, and we're going to drive this hopper straight into the bollard that is on the ramp, because why not? There you go. That's beautifully wrapped around the bollard. So now if I tab and I switch to the bollard and I lower it, oh, the hopper is actually attached to the bollard. That is not pretty at all. All right, so let's reset the Jeep hopper, and let's cruise down here. And I just left a little bit of the bollard exposed. I want to see what this does. Oh, well, I cleared it. Okay, so I know what that means is I need to go back to the bollard. So again, I hit tab. I'm going to use page up to set that a little higher. I don't want the hopper to be able to clear it necessarily, but I want to just kind of, tag the bottom of it. Let's see. So here, I'm going to pause the physics, which is J, and then free cam, again, that's Shift C. Use my mouse and WASD to move that camera around. And then I'm also going to slow things down a little bit. So I set the speed. Oh, look at that. Just rubbed across the bottom. You saw the sparks flying. And there we go, off into the distance. Yeah, so there you go. Bollard's up, and the Jeep is down. All right, so there you go. Oh, my gosh. All right, so let's change vehicles to the Baja Piccolina, whatever this is called. The other thing I did was I did Alt-Enter, so I put it back into full screen. Oh, straight into the bollard. Oh my gosh. Oh, hey, by the way, one of the things I forgot to tell you, if you're playing the game in full screen mode and you need to switch to editor, it'll tell you to get out of full screen mode. If you're not familiar with that, that is Alt-Enter, and that is how you can switch between full screen and windowed mode. You can only be in the editor in windowed mode. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is. So I guess because the menus and stuff can't come up. I don't know. But anyway, let's take this puppy into the bollard one more time and see what happens. Oh, slowing it down, grabbing a hold of the front end. We're just rolling, crashing. Oh, that is so not good. Oh, man. So there you go. That is how you place objects in BeamNG. There's a couple of different ways to do it. One is you free cam, so that is Shift C, and then use your WASD keys plus your mouse to position your camera where you want the object to appear. And then you'll go into the vehicle menu, choose the prop or other vehicle that you want. Tell it to spawn new, and then if it's not exactly where you want, you can reposition it by grabbing nodes, and to do that you hold the control key while you point your mouse at one of the circles. They're called nodes, but one of the circles on the item, and then hold your mouse button down and drag that point to where you want that object to be. So that's one way to do it. Excuse me. And then the other way, or another way, is to set the object close to where you want it, and then use Alt-Enter to get out of full screen mode if you're in full screen mode. If you're already in windowed mode, then you don't have to worry about that part. But then you're going to, what I like to do is I put the camera into free cam mode before I do anything else. So I free cam, and then I generally also hit J to freeze the physics. You hit F11 to get yourself into the editor mode, and then in editor mode, you want to choose the object editor and use the arrows to move the object where you want it to go. hit F11 to get out of editor mode, and go from there. So there you go. So one tutorial showing you how to do it, the other one just telling you the steps. Either way, that's how you place and move objects around in BeamNG. And it's a lather, rinse, repeat situation. Basically, you just keep doing that. You know, if you want to put in more objects, you just spawn in more objects and put them where you want them to go. So there you go. Hope that helped you. Got any questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories? Feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. And thank you guys so much for watching. And a special thank you to War Heroes Gaming, who is supporting me on Patreon. I appreciate that so much. And if you'd like to support me, by all means, head over to patreon.com/davidinark. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in BeamNG Drive.